Hey guys, what's up? Today in the Brick Lab, we are going to be trying to upgrade the 2021 Ultrasonic Raider. So you may remember that in my recent review of this set, I was none too positive, and for good reason I feel. So today we're going to look at upgrading the newest Legacy Raider since it looks like we're stuck with it. So there were two major things that I wanted to fix with this build. Number one, getting rid of those side bikes because those things are hideous and I have nothing good to say about them. If you want my full thoughts, I guess check out the review. And the other thing was fitting in all four Ninja into the main cockpit, since that was something that a lot of people seemed to want. So here we go. We have both of those mostly complete. So taking a look at it from the front, we can get a better idea of some of the changes I made here, and basically the most obvious change is that it's now a whole lot more compact. By removing the bikes, I was able to shrink the treads in just a little bit, and I think that helps the design out very much. The only downside is that there's a lot less room on the gunner turret for a Ninja to sit, and in fact, if you do want a Ninja to sit there, they still can. You just need to raise the arm on the side that's closest to the tread, otherwise the tread is going to run into them and knock the Ninja off. Quite an unfortunate end. Of course, the most obvious fix, if you don't want your Ninja to be positioned on there awkwardly, is to add in an extra plate here, and that'll raise the Ninja up, and then that'll solve that little problem. But I'm not too worried about it because there is room in the cockpit now for all four of the main Ninjas, and then as you can see, I also was able to leave in the gun turrets here, and we now have the spring-loaded shooters underneath the gun platform, so it kind of makes it look like the guns are actually firing. And also, one of the positive aspects of the set is that you actually still can remove these treads to turn this into the ultrasonic bike, but we'll get into more of that in a little bit since it is just a little bit more complex. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the jet, since this is still my favorite part of the set. So the Ultrasonic Raider jet has consistently been my favorite part of the Ultrasonic Raider, and that remains the case even with this one. I will say this mechanism is just a little bit annoying because it does tend to unfortunately fall apart, but if you want more info on that, you can check out the review of it. But yeah, so basically in order to fit two Ninja into the cockpit here, it was actually a whole lot easier than I thought it would be. Basically what I did was I added in a plate, added in this cockpit piece, which comes from the new Hydra Bounty set, and I think a couple of those smaller Ninja pods. And then I took this piece, which is from the Ultrasonic Raider bikes, added in the cockpit piece, and then just plugged that in. From there, you can easily fit both Ninja in the cockpit, and the cockpit closes around them very securely. But yeah, other than that, the jet remains pretty much consistent. The only difference now is that the cockpit looks a whole lot cooler, and it can fit two Ninja. So now that the jet is removed, we can take a closer look at the main body of the Ultrasonic Raider, and what can I say? It's pretty plain without the jet on top. So the one feature that I do kind of like about the Ultrasonic Raiders is the fact that you can switch the main body up and basically transform it into a little bike. So if you want, you can actually do this with this build as well, even with the treads still in place. It's a very unique look. It's not like any other Ninja vehicle we've seen to date, I will say that. Now, unfortunately, I did try to use as many parts from the set as I could, which means that the treads are just a little bit harder to remove. It's still possible, but the build is probably going to fall apart on you. So if you want to take them apart, what you need to do, and I guess I should probably show you this after the build tutorial so that it makes a little bit more sense, but you can come back to it, I guess. So basically, in order to remove the treads, what you have to do is find this section here, which is going to be, it looks basically a little bit like this. You're just going to pull that off, and once you do, the treads are just going to fall apart completely, which is not my plan. But pretending that they stay in place, all you have to do then is just slide them out like they were on the original bikes. And it'll take just a little bit of effort, and again, you're going to shed some pieces, but it's not impossible. You pull those off, and there you go. And then we do the same thing on the other side. We just pull off that plate and slope combination, toss it to the side, and just basically slide her on out. Yeah, again, it works better on the second one for some reason. So once you have that, you can swap the main body of the Raider into the Raider bike, and there you go. It's still intact. Of course, putting it back together is going to be just a little bit of a mess. So if you want to make these changes, obviously the easiest changes that you can make are going to be to the main body here. And to make them, you're just going to remove the brick and these modified jumper plates that are here. Just remove that, replace it with a 1x2 brick, a panel, and then put this back into place. And that's really, do the same thing on the other side, and that's really all you have to do to the main body. This is literally the easiest part of the build. Next, of course, you can modify the jet, and I did kind of show you guys how to do that, so not going to go over that again. So the hardest part of this build is definitely going to be the treads, and when I say that, I mean because they're going to be fragile right up until the end. It's basically going to be really hard for me to show you, but I guess we can struggle through it. Well, the first thing you should know is that the most important part of this build is the part that's going to be keeping it all together, which is going to be these plates and this inverted slope. And yeah, so basically in order to make this, I'm going to remove all that. You're basically going to tear down the bikes until all you're left with is this. And this saves me a lot of time because then I don't have to show you all this. And then you're basically just going to build this part here. And honestly, I could go over it step by step, but it would probably be easier if I just did a quick little on-screen build tutorial here. Now, when you're done with that, what you want to do is take it and just plug it into the section right here. So basically, you want to connect this corner plate here with this jumper plate here. So just once you line that up, you can click it into place like this. So now what you don't want to do is take this and connect it in. When you connect in this section, you're going to put it in like this. Right, so the reason I want you to see this right now is because we can't put it on now. In fact, we can't put it on until we've connected this section to the ultrasonic raider, rather. And so basically you have to carefully put this here and slide it into place. The reason why I say carefully is because this thing is going to want to fall apart in you. So basically once you've carefully slid it back as far as it will go, it'll fall apart. You should hopefully end up with this. And from here, now that you have that in place, you can take this little assembly, put it here, and then slide it so that it's underneath this black panel that we put into place. And then once you have it, you can latch it down, and there you go. It's going to be a little something like that. And once you have that in place, it's going to be secure. You can drive this thing all around, all over the place, and it's not going to fall apart on you. At least it hasn't in the test drives that I've done. So yeah, knock it out. Let me know how secure it is. And then once you have that, you can do the same thing with the other side. And I'll show you it again just because it is, well, kind of a little bit fiddly. So yeah, basically keep this in mind, this is how this assembly should lock into place. And then we're going to take it, and it might be easier if we just detach this gun piece while we're doing it. And when you connect it, it's easier if you put your finger on this white section instead of the spring-loaded shooter. If you put it on the spring-loaded shooter, you're basically just going to knock the whole thing apart. So once you have it, again, just stick it in this section here as far in as it'll go. You're basically going to slide it back until that brown Technic beam is all the way as far back as it'll go. Then you can carefully turn it over and then take this little panel here. Again, you're going to have to slide it underneath the black panel and then push down really hard to lock it into place. And once you have that, again, your ultrasonic raider is going to be good to go, and it's basically going to be borderline indestructible. Alright, so with that, our ultrasonic raider is upgraded. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys were also able to follow along. Hopefully that building tutorial wasn't too complicated. But yeah, anyway, that'll do it for today. If you guys enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all that other good stuff. If you want to see more of my content, please feel free to check out the other videos on my channel. And as always, keep watching or something, and we'll see you next time. We need a better catchphrase.